Tom on 760 WJR, where Michigan comes to talk.
Well, you know, Michigan has a lot of challenges as Governor Gretchen Whitmer prepares to deliver her annual State of the State address tonight, not the least of which is a slowing population increase, Kevin. We look at more people that are dying in Michigan than are being born in the state, and that's not a good thing, I just think, for morale, but also economically when you look around what's occurring here compared to other states in this country.
I don't see that coming up, Tom. I'm expecting a victory celebration tonight. The governor celebrating a historic change in direction in our state as Michigan took a sharp left turn with the Democrats controlling the state House and Senate. Or will I be wrong? Will the governor come out and reach out tonight to the other half of the state, the Republicans, and let them know that they are a key part of this state's future? Let's bring in David Dulio, director of the Center for Civic Engagement and Political Science, professor at Oakland University. Good morning. How are you?
I'm well, guys. Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing well. What do you think the governor's going to do? Is she going to be inviting to Republicans, or is she going to celebrate what her and Democrats did this year?
Well, based on some of the leaks that are coming out of Lansing about what we're going to hear in the speech later tonight is certainly not in the category of bipartisan. I think Republicans aren't going to like a lot of what she has to say. You know, we're hearing things like state-supported, universal early childhood education, state-supported, state-funded, 2 years of community college for anybody who graduates high school. Those are the kind of things that Republicans in the electorate and certainly in the legislature aren't going to receive with open arms, let's put it that way.
I wonder what she'll do about things like green initiatives and green energy and Goshen jobs. Some of those things are not polling well nationally. Do you think she will continue, as she did last year, to say Michigan's future is green energy jobs?
Well, I think that, you know, if past is prologue, then you know, you're likely to hear some of that sort of thing. And even though, right, this Goshen deal has had some problems and certainly critics, you know, I think that when the governor sees that she's going to have a legislature controlled by her party, you know, for the majority of this year, and I say that because, of course, the state house is currently at a 54-54 deadlock because we've got two vacancies, but those are going to get filled in April, and Democrats will likely be back to a 2-seat majority in both chambers. And if 2024 goes like 2023 did, Democrats are going to push through and be able to push through whatever they want. So I think that you know, this is going to be a speech where she lays out priorities and really marching orders for those Democratic legislators.
Yeah, and you know, getting stuff done, that's what she's probably going to talk about. And one of the things I think she wants to get done, and you know, she's probably going to bring up the population council that she created in order to deal with a real big issue in the state. That right now, the state of Michigan, the population growth ranks 49th in the nation. That's second to last place. How is she going to address that, do you think, tonight? Is she going to bring up the fact that we're so bad right now, or is she going to paint a kind of a rosy picture on what she's doing to increase the population?
Well, I don't think it's ever smart for a governor to lay out just how bad things are when it's a speech that she's going to, you know, rely on to be, you know, sort of a kickstart to the legislative year. But I think she has to acknowledge the facts that, as you say, we're 49th in growth. But, you know, this population council, you know, while it did its job, I've yet to hear anything about how the governor or the legislature is going to act on any recommendations that they made. And it's also, you know, worth reminding folks that one of the co-chairs John Ricolta, a Republican, important point, noted that, the stuff that the council came up with he doesn't think is gonna really increase population in the near term. So, I think that's something that she's gonna have to navigate as well.
Yeah, he said 2050 when we'll start seeing results of this, and who knows who will be governor by then, at that point, and what happens to the council in the interim. The state of the state is supposed to be somewhat of a realistic view and a kind of a report on how the state is doing. And one of those areas, of course, is education. Student reading scores are down right now. There's a big struggle in the state is education. Do you think she's going to be specific and in maybe being a little bit real on the challenges that are currently existing and how she goes about trying to address that issue?
Well, I think that education, broadly speaking, is one where the governor and Democrats feel very comfortable in talking about and trying to address. And I think that those universal state-funded programs are part of that part of their answer to education broadly. And so I think that those might be the only specifics that we hear tonight. But I think it's going to be a priority moving forward for Democrats.
It's no secret that many people believe that Gretchen Whitmer wants to run for president. It's also no secret that she's been telling the Biden administration that they need to push harder on abortion rights. Do you think she's going to spend time tonight talking about abortion rights in Michigan or nationwide?
I imagine that this will be, if it comes up at all, it will be more of a congratulatory tone where, she will look back at 2022 and say that the state enshrined those rights into the state constitution. And maybe even, that we have to do more. But I don't think she'll get too specific, because Democrats already won that issue. And I think she's going to be looking forward to what's next.
You mentioned the governor wanting to provide, free, early education, nursery school, kindergarten, that kind of thing, but also free college and community colleges. She also wants to provide, it looks like, free housing and get into the housing industry. A $1.4 billion initiative to build about 10,000 homes across the state. Some of the pushback might be, listen, isn't this a bit overreach from the government to get into all these areas that you think that the free market would really take care of? How is that going to be received, this general ideology that the government here is here to take care of its people in these different ways?
Well, I think it rather than maybe an ideological argument, I think Michigan residents are probably going to look at this and wonder why the government has to build these and fund the building of, I think it's even refurbishing, right? But be in the business of renovation or home building when we have that anemic population growth, right? Where are all these people going to come from that are going to live in these places? And two, right, we've got, as you note, right, a very robust developer market that is, seemingly taking care of that demand. I think the price tag of that is going to get a lot of attention. That is of course it's over time, but that's a lot of money that I wonder if folks are going to ask themselves, boy, couldn't we be, if we have that kind of funding, couldn't we be spending that in better ways, in ways that are going to maybe meet the needs of more people or maybe meet more immediate needs?
Well, she can always say she's going to fix the damn roads. That's worked several times for her.
Yeah, she always fall back on that one. Always appreciate it. David Dulio, Director of the Center for Civic Engagement and Political Science Professor at Oakland University. Dave, thanks so much. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.